Hi Leo, welcome to your fortnight forecast for the next 2 weeks. I just want to say a massive thank you for all of your support over the course of this year. I'll be getting back to that message a little bit later. Your keys for the fortnight, so you've got 2 cards this week for the keys. You have the Justice card and you also have the High Priestess. I find this so interesting because these cards are two sides of a coin, if you like. Obviously the Justice card is the outer, more masculine energy, and the High Priestess is the inner and more sort of intangible spiritual energy. And obviously the Justice card is 11. Simplify gives you the number 2. So both of these cards in some way, shape or form are all about balance. And so this fortnight ahead really is about bringing balance to your life. It's also about spiritual authority. I'm going to get into that in just a moment. And it's also about balancing your inner and outer worlds, right? And so when I talk about spiritual authority, the Justice card can be about legal things, right? And the High Priestess is about the spiritual side of things. So this fortnight, I think for a lot of you, is going to see you getting really clear on where you are or are not adhering to the rules of the universe and or your spiritual path and or practice. And what I mean by that is and only you can decide what rules and regulations are right for you and which ones that you feel you need to bypass, right? However, there are some truths and some rules that are universal. And what I mean by that is not the stuff, out there, the law. What I'm talking about is the law, right? And there are some laws that none of us, it doesn't matter who you are, how gifted you think you are or whatever, there are universal laws that none of us get out of adhering to. Whether by choice or by force is really down to us, right? So when I say spiritual authority, for a lot of you, I feel like this is a time where you're going to start to really understand, where have I been bending the rules or breaking the rules as I've wanted to or needed to, whatever the case might be, and where is it that I need to bring myself back into more balance? Do you need to get out into the natural world more? Do you need to stop spending so much time on social media? Do you need to, oh gosh, come on brain. Do you need to amp up the quality of your meditation, right? It's one thing to sit there and be like, yeah, I sat there quietly for 10 minutes and I did my meditation. Did you, or were you thinking about what you're going to make for dinner and what, amount of washing needs to be done for the week ahead? And you see what I mean? Like, there's some things that you can't get round. And this week, this fortnight, I think is going to show you that. On a more spiritual level, the High Priestess is hidden things revealed, right? So for a lot of you, this could reveal to you a commitment of your heart space that you actually hold that is buried under all of the other voices in your brain. What I mean by this is, let's say you've said to yourself, you know what, I really want to start my own business. And all of the, well, you got to do this and and you can't do that and you need to be responsible, and all of that is kind of drowning it out. And that little voice is there like, okay, well, I still want to do this, right? This fortnight, I think, is going to show you where you have made a commitment to something, but you haven't quite put pedal to the metal on making it happen. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if that just means you're going to be able to tell all those other voices to shut the hell up while this little voice kind of says, yes, I still want to do this and I'm going to go for it. Now, finally, when it comes to commitments and or contracts, this is probably not the best time, especially, it's holiday season to start with. On top of that, at the end of this month, Mercury is going to go retrograde. It's like between the 29th and the 31st. So if you have to sign a contract of some sort, get it done before then, but just be mindful. And remember, obviously, Mars is also retrograde in the sign of Gemini at the moment. So unless you have those placements in your chart, in your natal chart, this is probably not the best energy to use for that kind of thing. All right, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options, you've got the Queen of Wands. So this card is Leo ruled, right? So the fact that you've got this as your actions and options card, this really does suggest that you are showing up as yourself over this fortnight, but you're doing it, hello Mr. Magpie, but you're doing it in a way that is going to see you bringing balance to your life. So that's what you're dedicated to at this moment in time. That's what you're committed to. Yes, there's all the other things and all the rest of it, but it's like you're really very focused on bringing balance to your world. And because you've got this as your actions card, for some of you, this might be a week or a fortnight where you are having to set a bit of a line in the sand. For others, because it's an options card as well, this does suggest that you're going to get an ability to perform or to flex some of your muscle in some way, shape or form, which could be very nice. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Magician card. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised, and it may not necessarily materialize this week, or this fortnight, but I am going to say to you, your name is currently traveling in circles that you don't realize yet. This feels for me like you're being primed for something. Maybe someone's going to ask you for, maybe not a favor, but a collaboration, a connection. And this is probably somebody that you either admire a lot or somebody that has a lot of sway in the fields that you find yourself for work. This also suggests that the big commitment that you have is to really being your best. Whatever anybody does or doesn't perceive that to be, really not your business. Let them get on with it. You do you. All right. Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I really like this because this could be either an invite or at least a promise that moving forward you have a chance to maybe become a TA, like a training assistant. Maybe your status is elevating beyond just student. And for some of you, this could be a workplace offer, a placement offer that comes in. Maybe somebody says to you, you know, we've been really impressed with you, so we've kind of shown some of your work to other people, and you don't even know that your name is true. Your name and your work is traveling beyond you in circles that you didn't even realize. And it could be like before you even finish your studies, people are lining you up for jobs. All right, it happens. For those of you that are business owner, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, same kind of thing, right? Your status is elevating here. I'm going to be really honest with you and say it is going to be a lot of hard work. So as you come into the new year, expect to be sort of having your nose to the grindstone. But the results and the rewards are absolutely there. Your status is already elevating, but it will elevate even more with that hard work and action applied. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, this could be you being asked to speak publicly. Absolutely. There's some way here that you shine. There's some way that, you know, what does Leo do, right? And there's some way here that you shine. There's some way that you are being presented or put out into the world through somebody else, though. It's through an invite rather than just on your own steam. So it's like whatever you're doing, it's something that you're invited to do, invited to speak on, and you know, it could be a very good opportunity. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, and for all of the Leos actually, but especially for those of you that are retired and no longer working, this fortnight, I think there is going to be a very deep focus on spirituality. And for a lot of you, this could be where you start to learn some new spiritual or metaphysical practice or discipline. For a select few of you, you might be invited to study with somebody that has those kinds of things going on. And, you know, by doing so, you could be unwittingly, like without really knowing it, building a name for yourself in a different arena, or maybe enhancing the one that you're already in with these new skills in a way that you are completely unaware of because it just feels like fun. All right, so I'm totally here for this. For your love and relations, you've got the 5 of Cups. Not an easy card. So for those of you that are single, you know what I'm going to say. You're probably staying profoundly single for this fortnight, but that's okay. You know, once Saturn moves out of Aquarius, I think a lot of the Leos will, at that point, you'll start to get, you know, offers and interest and stuff. Like, it's been a hard road for the Leos. And it's like, what's wrong with me? When it comes to your those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you've got this with the Queen of Wands, and you've got it here with the Magician. The feeling that I get from this is, when it comes to you and your significant other, this fortnight is probably going to be a time where you're sharing a lot of really deep stuff with each other, where maybe you're talking about things that you haven't talked about for a while, if ever. And it could be a time that bonds you very closely through the divulging of what has been maybe not a secret, but something that you don't really talk about. So, you know, there is that. Another way that you could see this as well, for a very select few of you, if you know that your relationship is already on the rocks, this could be the final blow. All right. I'm really sorry to say that, but it is a potential. Outside of that, another way that it could also show up, especially if your partner or yourself has been overindulging, whether this is in alcohol, whether it's smoking, like whatever it might be, someone's going to call you on it this fortnight. And when they do, I think it will sting, because, you know, Leo hates to be told where it's not performing well or whatever. But the problem is you won't be able to deny the truth of it. All right, and so this is something that when it comes up, just take it on the chin, okay? When it comes to your money and materials, you got the 5 of Pentacles. So you've got 2 5s here. 2 5s represents a vigil. So when it comes to money, finances, and resources, there's potentially an expense here that you're not expecting, or you've overindulged and overspent for Christmas, which is very possible for Leos because it's such a generous sign. So, you know, keep that in mind. Also, I will say, for those of you that are traveling over the next fortnight, be mindful that you may end up getting stranded somewhere. All right. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the 5 of Pentacles is your neck, your voice, and your throat. I'm really fortunate that I'll be giving mine a break over this time to rest and recuperate. When it comes to your home and environment, look, you got the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. And I don't necessarily feel that this will be somebody in the immediate family. It might be a family friend, but these are both cards of loss. And I gotta say, there might be no sort of getting around this. Another way that it also could show up as well in the home and environment, please mind out with the 5 of Pentacles, because it's a card of accidents. Slips, trips, knocks, falls, stings, burns, all of that kind of stuff. So please, please, please be careful with your physical being. Outside of that, though, there's actually some really nice stuff here, even with those 2 sort of gloomy 5s. But yeah, pay attention to that. I think is probably the message this week as well. Pay attention. All right. Like, make sure that your mind is where you are. All right. Don't try to do one thing and be thinking about whatever and da-da-da-da. You know, have the body and the mind in the same place at all times over the next fortnight. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I want to say, from my heart to yours, whatever you do or don't celebrate, whether it's Yule, whether it's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, or Eid, from my heart to yours, I truly hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for all of your support this year, and for those of you that have been with me longer. It is so very appreciated. It's been my honor to serve you over the course of this year and all of the years previously, and I hope to do so even more so and with much better stuff in the new year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.